guys, and welcome back to Opal&Mint. I am Ashley, and welcome to Watercolor Blooms episode 2. I am so excited for this series to continue, and I cannot wait to have a full sketchbook full of flowers with you guys. This is going to be so much fun. So if you don't know what this is, I started a new series where we're painting a flower every single week, maybe twice a week in the near future. But we're gonna go through and paint flowers, different kinds, different styles, but I'm gonna put them all in my Etcher sketchbook, and then at the end we can look through the entire thing, and I'm so excited to have a book just full of flowers. In honor of the series starting, I bought some flowers, and they're still here. I imagine next week they probably will be dead, but they're gorgeous, they're in full bloom, they're so inspirational. These are just ridiculously beautiful. These lilies, I cannot even with these lilies. But I think today we're gonna paint these flowers right here. They're white, they've got a little bit of purple coming out of them, but I have taken, let me set this down. I have taken a lot of reference photos of this so that when these flowers are gone, we can still paint them. I will have pictures of them, but if you have any requests for specific flowers or specific techniques or backgrounds or anything like that for future episodes, please leave that in the comments below. But I think today we're gonna actually do a background, which we haven't really done in my flower series before, but I love painting backgrounds, and I think this one I want these white flowers to pop. So I think we're gonna do just a nice, gorgeous, rich, deep background. I haven't decided what color yet. We're gonna figure that out. We're gonna swatch some colors and figure that out, but I think we're gonna do a background today, and I'm kind of excited, a little bit nervous, but very excited. So let's go ahead, turn the camera around, and start painting some watercolor blooms. Okay, so if you did not see our first episode of Watercolor Blooms, we painted, where is it? Did it disappear? There it is. We painted this in our first episode, and we're gonna move over to this page, episode 2, and I'm actually going to tape off the edges because I want a border around with the background and the flowers, and we might do a tiny bit of sketching just to get the placement of these, but let me get all my stuff and we're gonna swatch some colors and see what colors we're gonna use. By the way, I used Google Lens to figure out what the flower is, and it's called Lily of the Incas. And it looks like it comes in many different colors. I think this is such a beautiful flower. Also known as the Peruvian lily. I think I'm gonna use my Etcher palette again. I've got some different brands in here. If I need a different color, I might pull from something else, but let's see what we've got here first. So let's swatch some things. Let me pull up reference first. Do you see how beautiful? Oh, okay, I might use this one. Okay, so here's our reference. Let's swatch some colors here. First, we need a pinky purple. So I'm getting quinacridone rose, kind of mixed in with some purple that was already there. Let's take a little bit of tundra pink from Schminka. Okay, let's see what this color looks like. That's beautiful. That might be our color coming from the centers. And then we'll just need a little bit of green. All right, so background. We've got a little bit of yellow as well coming through in those flowers. So we've got some green. We'll probably use a little bit of gray, purple, pinky purple. What should the background color be? We could just do green. Like a greenery background. I mean, we could just take our undersea green. That's Pearline. This one's Hookers. Never mind. I don't know. I think I want like a rich color. But what is the question? Okay. And I think I want it to granulate. I want a granulating color. I want the background to be really interesting. So I'm going to mix up some ultramarine blue, because ultramarine is a granulating color. And then I want to take Undersea and mix that in with our ultramarine. Let's see what this color looks like. Ooh. It's a little bit more green. I feel like there's a fly buzzing in my ear. Okay. Okay, so this is a deep, rich green. Do we like that color? That would probably be really pretty and make those flowers pop. Do we do green? I think we'll do the green, and I might stick a little bit of other stuff. We'll see. We'll see. Okay, so I've kind of picked my color palette. It might be adjusted a little bit, but all right. So step one is I'm going to tape off my edges. I have the Holbein soft tape. It's pretty thick tape, the one that I have, but let's see here. We'll just do about half of the width of the tape. Tape that down. This one looks a little bit crooked. Okay. Do you normally like to tape the edges of your paper? I did it a lot when I first started painting, and now I only do it for certain looks and certain things. I don't always tape down my edges. Definitely comes in handy for some things though. I like that sound. All right, so let's get this going. And then I think what we'll do, hold on. Can't talk and tape, evidently. That's crooked. Okay. Tape is down. All right, so what I think I'm gonna do is I'm going to lightly sketch out just the outline of the flowers, and yes. So let's take a pencil. I'm actually gonna take just a little mechanical pencil. This is a Graph Gear 500. And I want to start with just flower here. So I'm going to start with one petal here. And these kind of come to a more blunted tip. They're not like super pointy. All right, so we've got 3 top petals. So 1, 2, and 3, kind of do a little triangle here. So these are the front petals. There is like a fly in my window or something. Like there's something buzzing. It's driving me crazy. Okay, so you've got those 3 petals, and then you have 3 petals behind them that are fatter. So let's make these really fat petals here. Again, this is mainly to get that outline so we can do the background. Okay. And petal. All right, so there's our first flower. You can't even see that very well, can you? Okay, well, I don't want to sketch too darkly because these are white flowers, but just know top 3 petals, 1, 2, 3. And then we have the wider base ones. And then the ones in the back will have that green coming down the middle of them. So let's make sure we've got a wide enough petal for those back ones. That a little bit wider. All right. So there's the outline of our flower. That's all we need. I feel like I want to do... Okay. I don't want to make this too complicated of a sketch is another thing I'm trying, because I want you to be able to follow along with this. So I don't want to do like too complex of sketch. So I do want another flower, but I want to make sure it's not a confusing one. Okay, so let's just have another one here, and then we'll do background. So we'll have 2 flowers. We'll do that. Okay, so this one, we're gonna have petals coming out here. So we're gonna have 1, and this is the top petals, have 3. So we have 1, and then think triangle. So 2, and 3. This one, have it kind of tilted maybe. We'll see what happens. Yeah, so I'm making this one shorter here, so it's tilted that way. Okay, and then let's get our big back petals in here. I feel like this petal, one of the petals needs to like droop downward. So let's make this one. Okay. Cool. They've got nice, very long, thin leaves. I don't know. I feel like we do need to have a couple of leaves in here. Let's do one coming out this way. Got one here, and then maybe a second one coming out from behind it, drooping off this way. And then for balance, we'll do one on this side. Okay. All right, so we have 2 flowers, 3 leaves, and then we're gonna paint a background. So we're gonna do the background now, and we're gonna focus on the flowers in a second. I know I said these are very simple flowers that we're gonna be doing, but I wanna do some different types. So if this is too complicated and it's scary, I just wanna encourage you to try it. These are still gonna be very simple shapes. It's gonna just do one step at a time. We will get there, okay? So we're gonna make the background nice and rich. And to start with, I normally like to put some water down first. That way if I mess up, it's a little easier. So I'm gonna go around. I wanna lighten my sketch even more. So I'm sorry if you can't see it, but I want the white flowers to not have too big pencil marks underneath. Okay. All right, so our background color was ultramarine and undersea green. And again, use whatever background color you want to. You don't have to do the same color that I'm doing. Okay, so let's see. So we're just gonna go around the shape that we have of our petals and our leaves. I didn't really think about the leaves being green too. We'll make the leaves a lighter green than this background. And then we're just gonna spread this out, drop in color, and just go around all of your sketch. And you can vary up your color. I don't like to use just the one color. A lot of times I will put more blue here, more yellow there. Don't try to make it exactly, the same all the way through. You can even just go like into my undersea green, into my ultramarine, and kind of mix them on the page even. Make sure you can see what we're doing here. So just going in. Just be mindful of any edges that might be drying. Try to do this quickly, and if something's drying, you can go over it. Try and blend out any hard lines that are happening. But again, another reason I usually go in and get it wet first is it'll help prevent that quick drying and those hard lines. So I started to do that and then I stopped, but I should have continued to wet the surface first, but that's okay. We'll get through it. Hopefully you did as I said and not as I'm doing. I keep hitting the microphone, it's so close. So I'm just putting some more water in, throwing color in it. Let's go all the way around here. I'm gonna come back on the side real quick. Some water, some color. Just go around your shapes. See how I got a hard line there? I'm going to take some more color, pop that in there, getting some more water, trying to blend that in. And some of the blooming and hard lines is fine for the background too. If that's something that you want, that's totally fine. I want us to embrace some of the things that could be considered mistakes even in watercolor. So the title is actually Watercolor Blooms, and I know that can be a negative term sometimes, but sometimes we should embrace the things that watercolor does, the things that it wants to do. I try to avoid blooms sometimes, but if you want, you can even like add in water here and there to make it bloom. Do it on purpose. Let's see here. Trying to get this in here before it gets all dry. Add some water, add some pigment. I did not mention what brush I'm using. This is the Creative Mark Rhapsody Natural Hair. I really enjoy painting with these, and no, they're not for everyone, and I know that they're not a cheap brush, but I really enjoy it. Kind of lost where my sketch was, so I'm trying to picture how this flower petal needs to go. Kind of made it shorter than it was supposed to be. That's okay. And you can also do multiple layers on your background if you want to get some depth and richness to your background. You don't have to just do one layer and be done. I'm excited to see how this one turns out. Slightly nervous. It's okay to be nervous about the process, because if I get this pretty background and then I mess up the flower, kind of sad. But again, we are learning. Ooh, I like dry brushing over it. I might do that after. That was really pretty. Love the color combinations here. Okay, I think I'm gonna stop there. All right, so there's my background at the moment. I say I'm gonna stop and then I add more. Felt like it needed that. So I wanna look at this flower here. So the 3 petals, we're gonna have the purple coming out, and then the back ones have that green kind of in the center. And then to give them a little bit of shape, I wanna start with some gray, washes of gray first. So in order to do that, I'm gonna take, I actually wanna take a little bit of buff titanium mixed in with my hematite genuine. Is that what this one is? Just a little bit, get any kind of gray kind of color, and I want the creaminess of the buff titanium. So let's just start one petal at a time, So I'm gonna take this one here and just gonna lightly put some of this color on here, and I want to be a little bit darker in the center, showing some depth. I'm tapping my brush on my towel, and then I'm pulling some of this color back in. Putting in a little bit up here, and then again putting a little bit more in the center, just giving that petal a little bit of shape. Okay, so when we go in with the purpley pink marks, that petal already has a base shape going. I hope that makes sense. Okay, and you could just use the buff titanium on its own, just a light wash of that buff titanium. Okay, so let's go on to this petal. Again, we're gonna kind of shape this out. Washing off my brush to feather this out. I don't want it to be very dark. Washing off my brush again, pushing back this color down to the center. Okay. Lightly putting in color. Again, I'm not making this super realistic. This is just gonna be beautiful and light. So let's do the same thing on this third one. Starting in the center, washing my brush off, tapping off the excess water, pulling down toward the center. And there we have our top petals. We're gonna do the same thing on this other one real quick while we're here. So I'm gonna start in the middle. I'm actually gonna go doop on all these real quick. Then wash off that brush, tap it off a little bit, and we're gonna pull these out, coming out from that center. And same on this little front one here. All right. Now it doesn't look like much, but it's getting there. We've got some shape happening. Okay. And then for the back petals, we're gonna do the same thing, but we're gonna go even darker because these are underneath. They're gonna be in a little bit of shadow. So I'm adding a little bit more of the hematite genuine. You can use any kind of gray you want, any kind of mix some colors, get a gray. Let's see, and I have a little bit of creaminess with that buff titanium. Okay, so let's take this back petal. Look in here at this petal. You'll see a shadow, which is what helps pop out that front petal. I almost said leaf, petal. So we're just gonna, again, this is a little bit deeper than the front one. I'm gonna kind of trace the edge of that petal that's on top. So washing the brush off, and then we're going to feather out that line. So we put a stark line differentiating that petal, and then we want this to fade out into this bottom petal. Okay. And pulling color back. Are you following? Are we doing it? Are we good? This one kind of butts up to this other flower, so I'm going to go ahead and trace this petals line as well. So we have that shadow, and pulling this shadow with the shape of this petal underneath. And then when we put that green in, like this is going to be beautiful. All right, so I'm trying. I said these were going to be simple. I know this is a little bit complicated, but it's fine. You got this. So just go around and do that to all of these. Can make the edges a little bit jagged. Don't make it perfect. But we're just making this front petal stand out a little bit. So put your line in, wash your brush off, fade that line out into the rest of that petal. All right, so I'm going to go around and do that to all of these, and then we'll move on to the next step. All right. Okay. So background, base, shadow layer. I think I want to do my leaves next just because I want to. And to make this leaf green color pop, since our entire background is green, we're going to make this one more yellow than blue. So I'm taking my CAD yellow and I'm actually going to take some of the Hooker's green. There's a little bit of color already mixed in here, so this is muting it a little bit, which is totally fine. But I want this to be more sappy. I'm going to take a touch of some purple just to dull that down because Hooker's green is quite vibrant. All right, let's see what this looks like. All right, so I'm going to go, that works. On here, we're going to go around this petal shape here. And paint in our leaf. Okay, and I'll probably go in and do more layers on this, but adding a little bit more depth at the base, maybe at the tip too. And let's do this one. My other leaf, I had one here and one here, and that one got covered up. So I'm just gonna make this one leaf here. It's a little bit fatter than the original plan because this was 2 leaves, but just alter the plan. It's fine. It's your plan, you can change it. Okay, let's make sure we don't go over the petals. There we go. Now we can see the green of these leaves. It's just a different, completely different shade. Okay, there we go. All right, so we have our leaves in. Now, what might be the most difficult part, but we're gonna do it. We can do it. I believe in you. I believe in me somewhat. So, we're gonna start with this petal here. If we look at these little marks, there's also a little bit of a yellow in there, which we might do, but they're coming up and out. So instead of curving this way with the petal, these are going to go out that way. So the ones in the middle, straight line down the middle, and then they like firework out that way. Okay, so let's get our pink mixture here. And I'm going to start light. The ones at the tip of the petal are the lightest, and then they get deeper as we go in. So let's do one light one here, and then firework those out a little bit. Is anybody else singing firework in their head right now? Okay, and we don't have to make it exactly like the photo. Please remember that. All right, so let's get some deeper color now. I don't remember what colors I used. I think I had some tundra in there. Tundra and Quinn. Oh, look at that color. Okay. All right, so we get some deeper ones. And as they come down here, they're shorter as well, smaller and shorter. So let's get here, just little bitty lines. make them go out, and then we have like almost just dots down here. The ones on the edges seem to be a little bit longer than the ones in the middle. Okay. Okay, so there's our first one. It looks fine. I'm not in love or obsessed yet, but I feel like it's a start. We're getting there. We'll see. It'll probably come together. Do you love the confidence that I just had there? Okay. So it looks like these two have this about the same amount, and then this one's very, very light. So let's do the same thing. We're going to come out this way and then firework to the side. Right. Okay. And then for this one down here, we're just going to put some really pale, thin ones in. Okay. All right. So there is our first one. It's not bad. Not bad. I'm going to do the little stamen things in a minute. Let's go on to this bottom one. This is the part that's going to be tricky for me to get the shape of this. So let's think this through. Let's do this one first because it's the biggest one here. Let's see. Kind of use this as a reference here. All right, so we're going to have little bitty ones coming out here. Off to the side. And they're going to get longer. I have a hard time not doing them symmetrical and uniform. Like the randomness of it is proving difficult for me, but it's fine. And then I'm going to get a little bit less pigment and off to the side. Okay. Not bad. Not great, but not bad. Okay. Okay. That's not bad. It's fine. Do you love the encouragement here? All right. And then this one is coming at us this way. It kind of goes like this. And maybe a long one here. It really helps if you go shoop, shoop when you're painting this. Don't forget the shoop shoops. Shoop, shoop, doop, doop, doop. Doop, doop, doop. Dee doop, doop. See, that helps. Makes it fun. All right. All right. All right. We're getting there. And then obviously this one's going to be a little bit lighter. And it's going to come this direction. Oh, this way. we go. Okay. Not bad, not bad. Oh, that was too much water on that brush. Okay, so to continue to pull this together, hang with me, you're doing great. This video is a lot longer than I originally anticipated, but I picked a difficult flower. It's fine. I'm gonna take the same green that we used on the leaves because it's kind of very similar to what's on these petals. And we're gonna try to not overcomplicate this. No! Oh no! I just dropped the paint on my... Oh, I hope that washes out. Okay. All right, so it comes to a point here, so we're going to put a point of green there. And actually, ooh, I have an idea. Oh, my green got mixed up. I'm going to put a dollop of green, and then we're going to take our trusty dotting tool. If you've been around here, you know I use this. And we're going to pull that green. Oh, yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. So pull it straight down in the middle and then curve it to the sides. Well, if that doesn't look like veins, I don't know what does. That's really cool. I like that a lot. Okay, so we're going to do that to each of the back petals. Let me get some more green here. Coming down this way, so the center is here. Let's put our dollop of paint. And the center of it. Down. This paint was not as wet, so it didn't spread as far. I'm gonna put a dab of water there. There we go. So make sure your paint is wet enough so it will actually spread. So these still look a little flat, so don't worry. We're gonna do a little bit more to those leaves, petals. And a lot of times when I paint a flower, like this is my first time to paint this flower, a lot of times the first time I paint it doesn't always go the greatest. So like, know that you're gonna have to paint things more than once often. Okay. Okay, so we need a center to these because the center is just nothing. Okay, so let's do that, and then we'll add a little bit more shape and we'll be done. We need to wrap this one up. Okay, so the center has little pink stamen thingies, really dark stamen thingies. What are they called? All right, so I'm gonna take some Quin Rose and I think hematite. I want to deepen this up. What is this color? I don't know what this color is. What's next to Hooker's green? Oh, Perline green. That's deepening it up. So I've got like a really, really deep pink for these little things. So we're just gonna put these little dots in here. This should be dry so it won't bleed. So just put a few of these and then we'll add the little lines that go to them. But let's do one more here. And then on this one, okay, this one, we're gonna have them this direction because the way the flower is facing. So let's put them here. There's one out pretty far even, and maybe one here. Okay, so I'm gonna let those dry before I do the little lines to them because I don't want it to bleed too much. I feel like we need a little bit more shadow maybe. And then if you look at these, they have those green lines, but then they also have lines going in the other direction as well. So it gives it even more interest. Okay, so first I want to take a little bit of cad yellow. I'm running out of mixing space. I want this to be very, very, very watery. So very watery, and I'm just putting in a little bit of that there, tapping it in, washing my brush off, and I'm just gonna blend it out just a little bit. I just want a little wash of yellow right in the center. Just a little wash of yellow. Center of those petals right there. All right, taking our kind of deeper mixture with a little bit of buff titanium. And I'm just going to do this once more. Okay, washing my brush off completely. And then I'm going to fade this out. And I want to kind of go in the direction of this, since there are some veining that go out that way. Let me see what happens if I take the dotting tool here through this. Does that help? How does that look? All right, so I'll be right back. I feel like I need to stop, and I'll put the lines in and be done with that, because I want to go overboard. I feel like I'm almost at that overboard level. Okay, taking a little bit of that shadow just in the center as well. Just add a little bit of depth right in the middle. Okay. All right, so for the little stamen lines, it's actually a fairly pale pink. I'm gonna take my Holbein shell pink and mix it in with this mixture we already have. This will do two things. Make it more opaque, which we kind of need for a lighter color, and it'll give us that light color. So we're gonna take these, kind of go from the center down and then back a little bit. So like this one's gonna go like this, like this. There we go. Just like so. Okay. So, are these the best flowers I've ever done? No. Are they pretty? Sure. I feel like there's some perspective things going on that could be changed. But again, we are practicing. I feel like if I look at this tomorrow, I'm gonna see things that I could change. I feel like these need a little bit of definition just because everything else has detail. Okay. All right, anyways, but I think I'm gonna stop it there, and I may fiddle with these some more later. I don't know. I feel like they could use a little bit more shadow and shading to give them even more dimension, but I think that's gonna be it for this video. I don't want to oh, hold on, tape pull. We gotta see how this paper does, and let's see these edges. Yeah. It always looks better once you pull the tape off, doesn't it? There we go. All right, so there is a background, there is a flower. This is a lily of the Incas. Yeah, I hope that you enjoyed this. I feel like I could do more. I could totally do more. I'm gonna stop though. I don't want this video to be very, very long. So, all right guys, that's gonna wrap it up for this episode of Watercolor Blooms. I hope you come back next week for another one. Let me know what flower you want me to do next week in the comments below. If you did enjoy this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't already and you want to see our future videos, hit that subscribe button down below, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye. Do we like it? Do we love it? Do we hate it? I don't know. What do y'all think? Don't be too mean. Oh, I definitely see some problems. It needs to be fixed. Okay, there we go. I'm done. I need to learn the anatomy of flowers so I can talk.